As I look at how the financial services industry has evolved over the past 5 years, decade, however long you want to look at this, I think of other industries and other companies within those industries that failed to adapt. And so, when new trends come along, you either adapt or you die. And so I think of companies, for example, RIM as being one example, who were very hot in the enterprise communication and email program. But when the smartphone came along, they didn't adapt to what was happening with Apple. I think of Blockbuster renting movies, and they didn't adapt to how entertainment became digitized. That's where I think we are with the fintech industry, is essentially you have to evolve, you have to adapt to not only the way that consumers are behaving, but the way that merchants are serving those consumers in order to continue this trend. So the role of APIs in that is you are essentially abstracting some of the complexity of the systems of record that have evolved over many, many, many years, and you're putting a system of engagement on top of that that allows the financial companies to move much quicker to react to some of the trends that are happening in the marketplace. Certainly, First Data is doing some fantastic things with APIs in the industry, and obviously it all started with our foray into APIs with the launch of Apple Pay, and that has since expanded to not only in-app based payments, but also web-based payments, all facilitated through APIs. The reality is it extends much broader than just payments. If you think of the value-added services that accompany payments, things like the security and tokenization of a credit card, or fraud scoring, or even to a certain extent some of the data reporting and analytics that happens. These are all areas that we're entering into, and all with the help of Apigee and the APIs. So as I look at digital transformation, it begins with consumer behavior. And so it's understanding how the consumer is behaving within the context of payments. And as you look at stats within the industry, more than 3/4 of the U.S. adult population has purchased online. You look at the mobile device, and 35% growth year over year in the number of transactions that have come through a mobile device. These all lead to me to believe that both the web and mobile are having a clear influence on the consumer with their purchase patterns. And so part of the evolution that we are undertaking with APIs and with payments is to make sure that we're meeting the consumer where they're behaving. The other piece that is interesting is as payment options continue to evolve. It begins with credit card, but then PayPal became another option, Apple Pay, Android Pay, the list will go on and on. How do you structure your business in such a way that you're insulated from the complexity of multiple payment options coming down the pike, and who knows which ones are going to be coming in the future? By having that API abstraction layer and hiding the complexity from the merchant and the consumer, what you're doing is you're meeting them, A, where they want to purchase, and B, you're offering them the payment methods that they prefer. And so that, to me, that's what's important. As I think about how Apigee has helped First Data, I can look at our approach towards the marketplace prior to engaging with Apigee. And we certainly had APIs, we certainly had a way of merchants and partners, for that matter, to come and do business with First Data. What we lacked was a single point of entry, and Apigee helped bring that infrastructure, from a proxy standpoint as well as a security standpoint, to give us that single point of entry. Not only from with Apigee Edge at the actual transaction layer, but a step above that with the development portal and where developers come in to register and to play with the sample code and to dig into our sandbox and play. None of that existed before our interaction with Apigee.